Thank you for joining the Board of County Commissioners for Collier County. As you can see, we only have the A team here today. Others are traveling. So with that, I think we have a couple of items we need to tend.
Yes, sir. We're going to start with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation will be led by Pastor Chris Voorhees from Covenant Church of Naples, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, Michael Krakow, Army, 25 years, 1968 to 73, dental officer.
Thank you. Let's pray. Father, we thank you so much that you are a God who cares about order. You are a God who cares about your people. And Lord, today we particularly remember the people that have gone before us, that have sacrificed their lives, as we just remembered yesterday, Memorial Day, so that we could meet in a room like this, that we could drive on roads like we have, that we could just worship in freedom, Lord. We don't take that for granted at all. And so we say thank you that you sent men and women to sacrifice their lives for our sake. And we were reminded that ultimately you're the one who does that for us. And so may we lead with wisdom. May we lead with compassion. May we lead with a sense of gratitude for all of the gifts that you have given to us. And so, Lord, I pray that as now this meeting starts, that you would give all the folks here wisdom to discern what's right and what's good and what's pleasant and what's pleasing, Lord, in your sight. And I pray all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Michael. Michael, you want to say a few words? We don't make you just do.
Well, thank you. Yes, I've been, as it was announced, I was in the service for 25 years as a dental officer, and I then taught at a couple of universities, and I decided there's more to life than teeth, and I came down to Naples, Florida, and shortly after we came down here, my wife and I volunteered for a vow. And unfortunately, she passed away last year and was very well taken care of by a vow. But I continue to volunteer at Treasures at 9765 Tammany Trail. So come visit us. I'm there on Thursday mornings. Thank you all so much.
And there you go. We are not going to let you talk again. Fix that. Will you please, Tom? Tom will get it, I think, maybe.
Where's the
We all set?
Where's the little
Where's the
fuzzy
duct
ball?
tape?
On the floor.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. And there you are.
Tom, do we have Commissioner Kowal and Commissioner Saunders?
We do, yes.
We need a motion for them to participate by phone, please.
Well, I'll make a motion to let Commissioner Kowal come in, but not Commissioner Saunders. No, please.
I'll second for both.
It is to allow them both. I was just kidding Commissioner Saunders, just so you know. He gets all tight.
Well,
so.
yeah. Well, since Commissioner Kowal and I are on the B team, we understand that it takes special acceptance to have us participate this morning. So I want to thank you for that.
And you're more than welcome, sir. And with that, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, same sound, so moved. All right, you two are welcome to join in.
Commissioners, agenda changes for May 26, 2026. First, we have move item 17A to 9A. This is a recommendation to adopt an ordinance amending the Collier County Land Development Code to provide for the comparable use determination process in the industrial district. This is being moved at Commissioner McDaniel's request. Next, we have continue item 11B to the June 9th, 2026 BCC meeting. This is a recommendation to approve a purchase and sale agreement for the acquisition of 6 parcels known as the Everglades City Outpost, with the property being considered for airport-related use, potential public water access, recreational, housing, and other public purposes. Authorize the chair to execute the agreement and any necessary closing documents, authorize any required budget amendments, and direct the county manager or designee to complete all due diligence and closing activities. This move is at Commissioner Saunders' request. We do have a time certain item 10A, to be heard at 10 a.m. This is a recommendation to receive a presentation by Scott McGregor, General Manager of the Gate Golf Club. And we have court reporter break scheduled for 10:30 and 2:50 if necessary. With that, County Attorney.
Good morning. Nothing.
Commissioners.
Good morning. Commissioner, can we talk about the continuation of 11B?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Saunders, I see here that you've asked that this be continued, and I just want to assure you that there has been extensive communication with the council, the city council in Everglades City. We've talked about it quite a bit. Now, I was making some moves with regard to my back and such earlier on, and I didn't make the actual council meeting, but we have talked about it quite a bit, and the propositions today will clear up, I think, a lot of the concerns that the council / residents have had. Are you still sticking to the continuous?
Yeah, let me explain why. Yeah, I apologize. I have a little trouble getting around. That's why I'm not at the meeting this morning.
Yes, sir.
It would have been preferable to be traveling somewhere, but that was not the case. The reason that I wanted to continue this is I really did not have an opportunity, and I realize this has been around for a long time, but I didn't really have a full opportunity to go through all of the details that have finally emerged from this. And I was just asking my colleagues to give me a couple of weeks to be able to do that. So my goal this morning would be to ask the members of the county commission to delay this for 2 weeks, give me an opportunity to spend a little bit more time. It's a very substantial acquisition. We're using conservation Collier funds, but we have a list of uses that we haven't really been able to pin down at all. As a matter of fact, we use the term potential uses, and then we say that those potential uses are preliminary in nature and they may be refined. I understand all of that, but my request is of my colleagues, let me have 2 more weeks to be able to dig into this a little bit more. I appreciate all the effort that's gone into this. I do not believe that 2 more weeks would make any difference in terms of the availability of the property, but would certainly give me an opportunity to answer some questions that I have. So that's my request of my colleagues, is for a 2-week continuance.
And I'm okay with that. If I can ask one question of our senior management, are we still going to be able to, because there are time-sensitive issues with the actual purchase agreement, and you're correct with the statement that there's not a whole line of people looking to acquire this piece of property, but will we still be able, I think I heard in the dissertation at the beginning that we're going to still proceed forward with closing activities and similar things that we would do during the due diligence, even if we had heard this item today?
Yes, sir. I've been advised that we will be continuing on with our due diligence.
Okay. Well, I don't think we need. I'm fine with that, Commissioner Saunders. I'm not going to call for a special vote on that one particular item. I'm okay with continuing it. I'm getting positive head nods that the A team's okay with it. So.
All right, well, the B team thanks the A team for that consideration.
The B team needs more time. Is that what it is? To digest all the details? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Sure, exactly. All right.
Only kidding. Only kidding.
Disclosure, sir.
Disclosures, Commissioner Hall.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I have no disclosures and no changes. And I do want to say hi. Good morning, Jim Dad.
Is he watching?
He's watching.
Oh, nice. Commissioner LaCastro.
No disclosures, no changes either.
And Commissioner Saunders, how about you?
Yeah, no disclosures and no additional changes.
And Commissioner Kowal, you've been rather silent this morning. Maybe it's on purpose. Is he with us?
He is, sir.
Okay. Let's see if we can get him online somehow to speak, because I need to.
Yeah.
I can hear him.
Is he there? Okay, Commissioner Kowal, do you have any changes to the agenda or ex parte?
No changes and no ex parte.
Good morning or good afternoon, whatever part of the world you're in.
Yeah, my internet's intermittent here, but I'm keeping up the best I can.
Okay, I'll go slow. And I only have two comments that I want to make on the consent. I think on item B5, we need to double his rent. That's for Congressman Byron Donalds. We only charge him $1 a year for his office, and I think it needs to be $2.
Inflation.
Yeah,
Inflation.
inflation, cost to carry. And then K4, we have an appointee to the DSAC committee, and I would like to move that we double his salary. So that's all okay with everybody? And by the way, they are volunteers. They don't get any salary whatsoever, so a double is still 0. So, and I have no I have ex parte. I got an email late this morning on 17B. But it was from a citizen, and so that technically is ex parte. So with that, we'll take a motion for acceptance of.
Mr. Vice Chair, sorry to interrupt. We have a public comment on summary.
You can let me know that before we start.
Yes, sir.
Please. Okay, let's hear from our public comment.
Your registered speaker is Cody Davis.
That's the one I got the email from.
Good morning. My name's Cody Davis, and I'd like to address the Copperstone Estates rezone. This site is surrounded by rural agricultural land on 3 sides. The adjacent parcels to the east and west and across US 41 to the south are all vacant agricultural. The staff report claims this petition qualifies for infill development criteria because it shares 2 common boundaries with developed parcels, but this isn't true. The staff report itself describes vacant agricultural land, a 6-lane arterial, and a lake lying between this parcel and Artesia Point. That is not a common boundary by any plain reading of the term. This violates Section 4.7.2 of the Land Development Code. Having said that, it's true that this area near US 41 and 951 has some development and could be a reasonable candidate for infill development on the whole. Right now, county planning relies heavily on a petition-driven PUD process and on stretching the plain language of the law past credulity. Each parcel in this area, if developed, will require its own staff report, its own traffic study, its own neighborhood information meeting, and its own hearing before this commission before a single shovel breaks ground. This is an ineffective, arbitrary, and in some instances, like this one, illegal way to manage growth in an area that is transitioning. It burdens county staff, it burdens applicants, and it artificially restricts the rights of property owners who lack the resources to navigate a full PUD petition on their own. Instead, I would encourage the Commission to consider a proactive small area plan or corridor study. A low to moderate intensity mixed-use district or form-based district established through that process would give all property owners in the area greater flexibility without mandating any change. Such a district could also be expected to produce better outcomes than a series of isolated PUDs. Mixed-use development generates higher internal trip capture, reducing the incremental burden on 41 with each new project, and it produces more walkable, financially sustainable neighborhoods rather than disconnected pods that depend entirely on arterial roadways for every trip. The coastal high hazard overlay, the existing infrastructure along 41, and the transitional character of this corridor all make it a logical candidate for this kind of proactive planning. I don't necessarily have a problem with orderly, smart development here, but this petition does not fulfill the criteria imposed by the law. I ask that the Commission direct staff to conduct a broader area plan for this corridor so that future development can be guided by a coherent framework rather than decided one parcel at a time. I also object to this item's placement on summary, which is in violation of LDC section 10.3.6J. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I received another slip for this item.
I think she was late. No, it's okay. We'll let her speak.
BB Cantor.
Phoebe,
Thank you, sir.
there will be an extra fee. for your being tardy this morning.
I spend so much money on parking tickets and library fees. There's nothing you could do that would scare me. Thank you very much. I agree with Cody that Mr. Davis, my very investigative friend, that we need to have, instead of approving these marginal projects piece by piece by piece, it would be a lot more efficient if we had a plan for that area. And as we know, a lot of your voters are a little bit concerned, or sometimes very much concerned, about developing out in these districts. So I think to avoid all these problems in the future, if you could just have a regional plan and stop going piecemeal by piecemeal by piecemeal, that you'd have a lot happier of a community. And I forgot to, do you want to know where I live?
No. You said your name for the record, didn't she?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
wrote it there. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to us.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Thank you now. All right. Are there, let's go online and talk to our colleagues. Commissioner Saunders, do you have any other changes or adjustments to the agenda?
Yeah, no, sir, no other changes, and as I said, no disclosures as well.
Okay, and Commissioner Kowal, you're okay too?
Unfortunately, sir, we just lost him. He's having some technical
Okay.
difficulties.
He had already said it.
Well,
So
he did say it. So with that, I'll take a motion for the,
I'll move to approve.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as printed. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, same sound. So moved. Okay.
Commissioners, item 2A is the approval of the meeting minutes for April 28th, 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes from our April 28th, meeting 26. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, same sound, so moved. Okay. Moving on now the favorite. These are my favorites. I like these.
Commissioners, that moves us to item 3, awards and recognitions. We're going to start with item 3A1, our 20-year attendees. First, we have Delicia Pulse, Code Enforcement, 20 years. Congratulations.
Do we have open cases older than that?
You want to come up with it? We got to, for 20 years, you get your picture to the boss.
Next up, Kamala Perez, 20 years, University Extension Services.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Next up, we have John Mazzano, wastewater, 20 years. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Moving on to 25 years, Brandy Collier, Emergency Medical Services. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
One more. Or two more. Well, I was. Might have been. Good morning, sir. How are you? Good. Good to see you.
Hey, who's this civilian guy in the suit, huh? Jeez.
Ramon Arca, 25 years, Facilities Management. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
Good morning, everybody.
Commissioners, that moves us on to proclamations. Item 4A is a proclamation designating May 2026 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month to be accepted by Rick Loy, Public Relations Committee, Abate of Florida, Inc. Congratulations.
And it's Abate.
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 Hey,
For us card carrying members, Abate. No, thank you.
morning, morning. You betcha.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, thanks, sorry, yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hello, Harley.
Good morning. I like that.
Brought my Harley.
How's my friend?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, thanks, yep. Yeah, thank you, good.
The old girl's running good, by the way. She still goes boom. I got a 96 fat boy, that's why I'm talking to the old girl. Yeah.
My bike has a 65 fat boy.
You want to say? Oh, yeah, you want to?
Somebody's got to do the thinking. Thank you.
Want to say a few words? Or? Oh, okay.
Lloyd, L-O-Y. Good morning. My name is Rick Lloyd, and on behalf of ABATE of Florida, Gator Alley Chapter, we would like to thank you for having us this morning. Proclamation. A proclamation is an official, formal public announcement issued by a person of authority to declare a specific event, policy, or state of emergency. With y'all's help, we are proclaiming that the month of May 2026 be Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in Collier County. This is important to us because ABATE of Florida is a motorcyclist rights organization, and ABATE stands for American Bikers Aiming Towards Education. The state of Florida currently has close to 700,000 registered motorcycles and around 1.4 million licensed drivers with motorcycles. Also, the state ranks #2 in all the U.S. for motorcycle ownership. I'm giving you these statistics to instill in you the importance of telling, no, teaching and educating your friends, family, and coworkers of motorcycle safety. A Beta Florida currently has around 6,000 members and strives hard to promote motorcycle safety with our own MSAP, Motorcycle Safety Awareness Program. Because I'm currently holding the position of PR Communications for A Beta Florida Incorporated, and also being a life member of Gator Alley Chapter, this proclamation means a lot to me. So on behalf of A Beta Florida and Gator Alley Chapter, we would especially like to thank Jeffrey and Amy for their help to making this happen, and Commissioner McDaniel for your sponsorship. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Item 4B is a proclamation recognizing June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth Day, to be accepted by Carlotta Jack Reese-Smith, Rhonda Burns, Wanda Barfield, Natasha Taylor, and Barbara Melvin. Congratulations.
Juneteenth was a big day in Texas.
Hey, good morning, how are you? Hey, good morning, how are you? How are you? Hey, good morning, how are you? How are you? I don't see Barbara Melvin. Where's Barbara?
Yeah, Barbara Melvin.
How you doing? Good morning. Yeah.
Wait. A good chair would have given you this already.
You're making the team look bad.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Commissioner Kowal, I'll try not to mess up no more.
You've done a great job.
yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carlotta Jackery Smith. I am the chairperson for the Juneteenth Committee for the NAACP Collier County Branch 5117B. I am a proud member of this community, and it is an honor to receive this proclamation, being that I grew up in this community, so this event is very important to us. Juneteenth is more than a celebration. It's an opportunity to bring our community together around culture, empowerment, and education, as well as unity. We want families to leave feeling connected, inspired, and supported. So thank you for this proclamation, and we look forward to a great event. Have a great day.
Could we get a motion to accept the proclamations?
I move to approve those proclamations.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the proclamations as presented. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed, same sign, same sound, so moved.
Thank you, Commissioners. That brings us to item 7, public comment. This is public comment on general topics not on the current or future agenda.
Yes, we have 2 registered speakers, one in the room, one on Zoom. Our first registered speaker in the room is Garrett FX Byron.
Did you bring me any prizes today, Garrett?
Yes, Bill, I did. This is a piece of my building that's fallen down.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, it's got way too much rock in it, actually. I was thinking that's probably not structurally sound, but it's okay because I got backup places. But really what I want to talk about is I got a note from Byron Donalds. It's really nice. And it's because I wanted him to be president, not the governor. Just make him president. Cut to the chase, right?
One step at a time.
Okay. Now, you had to say that, didn't you? Long and short is that, really seriously, at the end of this week, there's going to be a whole bunch of little kids on electric bicycles raising holy hell like we used to do years ago. Remember that?
I do.
We were gasoline motorcycles, though. These kids are, they scare me more than anything because it's not going to be good. In fact, this whole summer of the kids at the end of this week, it's going to be a bad time for kids on electric bicycles. So just tell parents tell your kids that they just can't be packing, can't run in packs of 5 because somebody's going to get hit. It's either the first or last guy, they're telling me. But anyhow, it's a public service announcement is what I'm doing. And don't forget, Byron Donalds for governor or president, either one. Thank you.
Thank you. Good seeing you this morning.
Your next registered speaker is Jack Mitchell on Zoom. Jack, you should be receiving a prompt to unmute yourself. Jack Mitchell. Jack, you've received the prompt. Just waiting for you to unmute.
Well, we'll let him stay on mute until such time as he decides to not be, and then you let me know. And if he chooses to come online, we'll let him speak.
Yes, sir. I will.
Okay.
Commissioners, that moves us to item 9. This is formerly item 17A, now 9A. This is a recommendation to adopt an ordinance amending the Collier County Land Development Code to provide for the comparable use determination process in the industrial district. This item was moved to the regular agenda at Commissioner McDaniel's request. Mr. Mike Bosey, your Director of Planning and Zoning, is here to present or answer questions.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Bosey, Planning and Zoning Director. Just to remind you, December 9th, 2025 of last year, you guys directed staff to add the comparable use determination process to the industrial zoning category. Prior to that, 2 years earlier, you made modifications to the comparable use determination to also include the conditional use evaluation as part of the criteria. So when it goes through the comparable use determination, there's a public hearing that's associated with it. There's safeguards that are in place. And specifically, when you add that use to the industrial zoning district, it's only at the specific geographic location that use is being authorized. It doesn't open up the entire zoning district. It's just for that one location. So it's isolated and it's protected. Within the your backup, February 4th, the DSAC full committee heard the amendment, recommended approval, but also recommended that the board consider to add the comparable use process to the agricultural zoning district. It was heard by the Planning Commission on April 2nd. The Planning Commission recommended approval, did not comment on the ag use, and I think that is one of the specific why the item was pulled from the summary item to the advertised public hearing. I think one of the Board of County Commissioners wanted to talk about adding that additional use. And with that,
that would be me.
Yes, sir.
And my comment is not the comparable use process a minute easier to get through than the conditional use?
I would say it's comparable because we've adopted the conditional use criteria into the compatible or the comparable use process. It's similar. Compatibility is a major part of the evaluation. So I would say it would be a parallel to the conditional use process.
And if I heard correctly, the proposition is for industrially zoned properties, and that there is protections that are built into this. Why would we? Because I pulled it because I would like to see it expanded to the ag lands as was recommended by DSAC, and I'm wondering, can we do that on the fly here today, or do we need to continue this item to allow that to be added in?
You can do it now if you want.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
It's a policy decision. Like I said, because each and every one of the comparable use determinations is site specific, it does not open up the entire zoning district to that use. So and it has to go through a public hearing with the hearing examiner. So there's an avenue for the public, for affected property owners to make comment and to participate within the program. So there are safeguards available to ensure that, one, it's restricted to one geographic location, and two, that the public does get an opportunity to comment during the public hearing process.
Absolutely. Commissioner Hall, you have a comment?
Thank you. Yeah, I have a question and a comment and a concern. The question is, remind me, what was the situation when we asked to bring back the conditional use on the industrial?
There was a specific property owner in the Immokalee who was looking at an industrial zone property, was looking for an indoor-only doggy daycare facility.
I remember that. Okay.
And based upon that, that was the impetus, and we have processed that petition to run it parallel with the approval of the comparable use determination in the industrial zone.
I remember
category.
that. Thanks. And then the question, I'm almost good with this because it's just site specific. It doesn't open up Pandora's box for everybody.
Yeah, correct.
But because of a certain petition that's still alive out there, I don't want to open up any to make it easier for the applicant to ask for something, because if we put a conditional use on ag land, this is ag land that we're talking about, and I don't want to make it any broader for that, so that if we make a decision up here that's contrary to them, we don't have any liability, or we don't open up anything for us to be Bert Harris or anything like that.
Let's ask the county attorney, will we be exposing ourselves if we added ag properties into this agenda item?
No, because people buy their property with certain expectations, and that's Bert Harris.
Okay, good.
And then on the premise that it is America and you have the right to do with your property as you wish, you have to ask permission in certain circumstances. We're not opening up the door for any unnecessary manipulation. I think I would really like to see the agricultural properties added into this agenda item.
And I will add, it will take 4 affirmative votes to add the agricultural district as well, and 4 for the item.
Okay. Commissioner Saunders or Commissioner Kowal, do you have any comments or thoughts?
I'm not sure if I do or not, quite frankly. I don't think I know enough about the implications of all of that. Would it be, I hate to ask something to be delayed for a couple of weeks here again, but I'm wondering, there may not be any implications at all. It may be absolutely the right way to go. I just don't know, I don't know enough about it to be able to make that decision. So I feel a little uncomfortable. Perhaps we could approve the agenda item today with direction to bring the other one back in 2 weeks with some explanation as to what the implications are for that, what it means, benefits, negatives, and be a little bit more educated. That way I'd be a little bit more educated on the vote.
I understand it is it is on the fly today. I mean, when I was reading the backup data, I read the safeguards that have been put in, that we've implemented in for the comparable use designation, and I really thought that ag should have been added in. So, Commissioner Kowal, do you have any comments or thoughts?
Yeah, I just just recalling from when we started this process, I know the ag, I don't think was in the conversation initially. I know, hearing from the county attorney and his opinion, on this now, but, yeah, I'd like to be a little bit more in depth on, how this works out in the end, because I just don't.
Okay.
I don't know, I guess I'm kind of like Commissioner Saunders right now. I don't have enough to chew on right now it's probably not an issue, but at the same time, it's kind of like we're doing it on the fly, if that makes any sense.
Well, it makes complete sense, but it's not, and there again, it's not on the fly. It's something that I've been very actively participating in along, but I have no issue with pushing it a little bit. Mr. Bosey has a comment.
And I was going to say, this was because we were adding a use to the LDC. It requires two public hearings. So this was the first of the public hearings. So we are scheduled again on June 9th, I believe, to bring it back. I could prepare a short memo that talks about pros and cons and frame the issue a little bit more directly for your second hearing, if you want to include the agricultural zoning district as part of that as well.
Commissioner Hall?
Mr. Bosey, what happens if we don't do it? If we don't provide the conditional use for either one of them?
Comparable use.
Comparable use. So does it still, can people still ask for a comparable use?
Not in the industrial zoning category or the ag category. We have comparable use allowances within our commercial zoning districts, but there's no reference to the comparable use within the ag or the industrial zoning category.
So we would need to be okay with this just for people to say, hey, we would like to ask you if we could do X with our property.
It allows them to ask the question. It does not guarantee them anything. It only allows them to ask the question.
And Commissioner Kowal and Saunders, because this is the first of two readings, are you okay with adding the ag lands in to this first reading? And then we'll formally adopt it in 2 weeks, which will give you time to familiarize yourself with the potential outliers. And we can certainly pull it out if there are concerns that are raised.
Yeah, for me, that's fine.
Okay.
I just want to have a second opportunity to vote yea or nay on this, and apparently that'll give us that opportunity.
Correct.
And so if we can get some detailed information from Mike Bosey on the implications of this. I'll give you an example, just that kind of jumps out to me. We have a lot of restrictions on the type of property on which you can have agritourism involving camping and that sort of thing. And so I don't mind opening the door to that. I just want to make sure that I understand what the potential is, and that'll give us the opportunity to do that. So
Very good.
I'm okay with going forward today.
Very good. So I'll take a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
And it's been moved and seconded for clarifications to add agricultural lands into the agenda item, and then we'll have a formal, another hearing on June 9th. All right. It's been moved and seconded. Sorry, do we have any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved. Very good. Somebody's still on, oh, that's Commissioner Kowal has to mute himself when he's not talking.
Commissioners, that brings us to item 11A. Item 11A is recommendation to award construction invitation to bid number 24-8265, construction services for 16th Street Northeast Bridge Project to Wright Construction, Inc., in the amount of $18,062,218.83, approve an owner's allowance of $1,444,977.51, and authorize the chair to sign the attached agreement. Mr. Jay Ahmad, your Division Director for Transportation Engineering, is here to present or answer questions.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Jay Ahmad, your Transportation Engineering Director, and I have a presentation. As the County Manager mentioned, I can answer any question.
This is long in the works and really going to enhance the grid system in eastern Collier County and allow for traversability in a multitude of ways. And it's also, just as a point, it also triggers the light, the controlled intersection at Randall and 16th. Once that bridge goes in, that bridge will not be open until that bridge is actually, or that light will not be lit up until the bridge is open. So
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the item as printed. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Same sign,
Aye.
same sound, so moved.
Thank you.
So moved, thank you.
Commissioners, that brings us to item 11C. This is a recommendation to approve the guaranteed maximum price First Amendment to Agreement Number 22-7951 with Christel Company of Southwest Florida, Inc., doing business as Christel Construction for construction manager at risk services for the Collier County Courthouse 6th floor and jury room renovations in the amount of $8,475,394. Authorize the chair to sign the amendment and approve the necessary budget amendments. Mr. Brian Deloney, your Director of Facilities Management, is here to present or answer questions.
Good morning. Brian Deloney, Facilities Director.
Morning.
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing good, sir. Thank you.
Our facilities all going okay?
As good as they can go, sir. We always have something going on.
Very good. Is there any discussion on this, or I'll take a motion?
You have a presentation?
Yes, sir.
I just thought 8 million was a lot, but only because I haven't seen this presentation. I saw the one on the bridge, but I didn't click on this one. If my colleagues did, and maybe that's not the best word. It sounds like a total rebuild. I mean, I can build a mansion for $9 million, so I'm wondering. I'm sure it's more than paneling and carpet. Do you want to just besides, because also you're speaking to the citizens, so and instead of a presentation, you could just give us a quick overview that I'm sure it's more in depth than just giving the jury renovation room a facelift.
Yes, sir. So this is not only the jury room, it's 2 courtrooms. We're basically gutting the entire 6th floor and redoing the entire 6th floor. On top of that, we're also redoing the fire alarm and sprinkler throughout the entire building as well.
Okay. No, it's good to get that on the record. Somebody's listening. Here's us approve a $9 million, renovation project, and then we all get 1,000 emails.
Yeah. The other thing to keep in mind, this is all night and weekend work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it can't occur when the court's in session.
And obviously, Crystal's on top of this one, right? So, we're probably getting $11 million worth of value for this. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Too late, Commissioner Saunders. You're just too late. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda item as prepared. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, same sound, so moved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I think we could take 11D before we go to our 10 o'clock time certain.
I think so.
Okay.
That'd be a good idea.
All right, let's move on to item 11D. This is a recommendation to accept the briefing on the FC Naples inaugural season after action report and authorize staff to issue a purchase order to Raftellus Financial Consultants, Inc. for the proposed titled Proposal to Conduct an Organizational Assessment for the Paradise Coast Sports Complex, confirming the proposed scope of work satisfies the board's requirements. James Hanrahan, your Division Director of Parks and Recreation, is here to present.
Good morning, Commissioners. I do have a presentation available and ready if you'd like to see it.
Yes.
Yes, sir. All
As
right.
long as you're brief, you have 12 minutes.
Yes, sir. I'll be quick. For the record, James Hanrahan, Parks and Recreation Director. So 2 parts to this. Accept the briefing on the FC Naples inaugural season after action report and authorize staff to issue a purchase order to Raftellus Financial Consultants, Inc. for the proposal titled Proposal to Conduct Organizational Assessment of the Paradise Coast Sports Complex, confirming that the proposed scope of work satisfies the board's requirements. So we heard you all loud and clear as far as the direction and context, and so we did it in 2 parts. Internally, we did an after-action report for the inaugural season of FC Naples. That way we could quickly have a in-depth assessment of how the season went in preparing for season 2. As you all are aware, we are already in season 2. And then the second component was more of a in-depth assessment from a third-party organization to not only look at what's going on with FC Naples, but the entire operations as a whole. I'm actually going to jump back to this one. This is dealing with the Raftellus, so I'll circle back to this one at the end. All right, so the purpose of the after-action review, as I mentioned, is to review the FC Naples inaugural season, summarize attendance, tourism, guest experience, and operational activity, identify lessons learned and the areas for operational improvement, and establish a baseline for year 2, which we're already in. This is just a quick overview of the responsibility of the county, sports facilities management, and FC Naples. Season overview for season 1. Over 68,000 that came through the gates to watch FC Naples play. 351,000 in verified visitor spending. So that's within the community. 600,000 for food and beverage revenue at the actual event. 647 verified room nights, which would be the teams and supporters of those teams. This was a survey done by FC Naples that 96% of the people surveyed are likely to recommend coming to a game and coming to the park, and 12.4 million digital views. So for the county, once Paradise Coast came under Parks and Recreation and under Jamie French's leadership, a couple of things that we did is we made sure that the stadium was up to par. We painted. We worked with IT to make sure that the IT was compatible and up to date for what needed to do to broadcast the games. We added the HVAC improvements to the locker rooms, which they weren't air conditioned before, but now they are. And then the overview is, if you see at the bottom, the first season offered better clarity on the operational, facility, and technological support needs involved in managing professional soccer. So we learned a lot, but each week we discussed it and we got better at it. This is just some more numbers. Once again, I mentioned over 68,000. So for the away games, when you add that in, over 120,000 in attendance for FC Naples game, both home and away. 28% single game buyers from outside of the Collier County. 53 ESPN commercial airings. 8.28 million co-branded digital views, and once again, the 12.4 million total FC Naples digital views. The exposure includes team kits, field signage, bench branding, ESPN Plus integrations, digital content, and community appearances. This was a survey that was conducted by the FC Naples organization, and for a first season, we're happy with the results, and we're going to work on to improve them for season 2. 71% excellent overall experience, 68% excellent match day atmosphere, 68% excellent staff friendliness, and once again, 96% likely or very likely to recommend. What worked well? Strong atmosphere and supporter culture, family-friendly environment, staff friendliness and accessibility, community pride and engagement, improvement areas, food and beverage variety and speed. And once again, we've already worked on that for season 2, where sports facilities added more menu items, and they also improved the quality of certain items. For example, the hot dog and hamburger buns were of a higher quality. And if there's any questions specifically to some of the things, we have sports facilities here. Suite level and food beverage service. One of the things I've noticed this year is nothing but bundt cakes is now an option for the suites, which is a wonderful dessert option. Parking and entry flow. We meet every week with CCSO to discuss the parking plan for every single game. For example, this year Orlando City was by far the busiest game we've had in the 2 seasons. We not only coordinated with CCSO, we coordinated with transportation to make sure the work that was going on over by 75, we coordinated that, so it was a seamless process. So we talked a little bit about the learning curve. We continue those meetings. We do one on Tuesday to prepare for the upcoming games, and then we do Thursday with all of the emergency services, fire, sheriff's department, as well as the EMS. This is just more of the things we've done that I've touched on. Additional setup and breakdown, refined food and beverage operations, improved parking circulation. Looking ahead, and we're already in this season, so these are the things that we've made changes on and continue to make changes. Continue refining food and beverage options. We are giving feedback after every game to the team. Continue to improve match day entry and parking, and build on strong first-year community engagement, where we're not only now promoting Paradise Coast, but FC Naples banners are at every single major park that we have in our inventory. So, and To wrap it up, I will go back to the slide as far, so that was the internal review. And I will finish with the Ralph Tellis, which the more detailed was in your packet. But the assessment will focus on overall facility operations and coordination, field use, scheduling, event activity, relationships and coordination among operational partners, roles and responsibilities under existing agreements, guest experience, operational support, operational observations related to revenue, expenses, utilization, and cost recovery, and then intended outcome, provide an independent operational perspective on current PCSC performances. Once again, this is not just for FC Naples. This is the entire operations, local, tournaments, and FC Naples. And with that being said, going back to the overall request that we have for you all is to accept the briefing as well as allow the operations and regulatory management team to proceed with the PO for Ralph Tellis. And I can answer any questions if there's any that you have.
You want to speak first, Jamie?
Hey, Jamie.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Jamie French. I'm your Department Head for Growth Management and Community Development. The only thing I just really want to clarify, only because I know it's been very important to both Commissioner LaCastro as well as Commissioner Saunders and all of you, I just want to be able to provide a clear distinction from prior work. This is not another Hunden Partners study. It is an operation accountability and financial performance review. The prior Hunden findings would be considered, but this measures the implementation and present-day reality for all your costs, how it's performing. It looks at FC Naples as well as your current contract, and that's really what we wanted to demonstrate to you on both your capital needs going forward as well as what your operational needs would be to maintain this facility.
Commissioner LaCastro.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm the one that sort of started this homework assignment, but it was unanimously, agreed to, and I think you guys are off to a good start. I just have a couple of questions. So, moving forward with this second part, sort of part two, what's the timeline that you think it would take to? Do we have any idea of ballpark?
Oh, if it's approved today.
It's 90-day
90
look?
days.
Okay. And as you said, and I'm glad to hear Mr. French say, this was never about just looking at FC Naples. Obviously, they're a heavy hitter and bring a lot of folks in, but, we have a lot of other events as well. And, my goal was to make sure that we're maximizing the use of the sports complex for the things that are great for this community. I mean, it's a huge investment, so I don't see how we could not do any of this. I think this is a requirement. I mean, if we owned our own business, and we do, it's called Paradise Coast Sports Complex, and it's owned by the taxpayers, you would do this in your first year, second year, 15th year to see how you could do things better, faster, cheaper, smarter, and you've already discovered a bunch of those things. I really commend the work of, Mr. French, James, you, the whole team. It's easy to sort of just mention a couple of bullets here, but we've all been out there, and we can see the difference between, when we cut the ribbon on the sports complex and now. And not that there were things that were wrong, but you learn and you get better. And to our contractor, that's out there who's just done a great job and has been a learning. And if we want to expand the sports complex, my first comment when I said I think we should take a look at things is, before we make it bigger or while we're making it bigger, let's make sure the stuff that we currently have is operating at its highest possible potential. I have sort of an off-the-wall question, and it's more so that anybody that might be tuning in, when they look at the slide that has all the numbers on it and whatnot, when you sell $60,000 worth of food, what's the breakout? How much of that comes back to the county? How much goes to the contractor? What's the algorithm of that? Because obviously that's a big number. Like any restaurant, food and beverage is the big number. With our contract now set up, how is the breakout?
So the breakout is 75% first goes to SFM, and then 25% to FC Naples, with SFM retaining the first $65,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When you say it goes to FC Naples, and none of that food and beverage goes into the county's pocket?
As far as with the contract that we have with Sports Facilities Naples, that 75%, we would also, the county's included in that 75%.
Okay, but what percentage of that, do we know how that breaks out?
Is it okay if I bring Adrian up?
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, we're here talking about it. I'm not trying to extend the meeting or anything, but, a lot of details floating around here that are important. Hi, Adrian.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Moses.
Adrian Moses with Sports Facilities Companies. Just for clarification purposes, all revenue that comes through Paradise Coast goes straight to the county. We collect it on behalf of the county. It goes into a county fund. So 75% of food and beverage revenue goes directly to the county. We, as the management company for the county, we are purchasing the goods to sell. We are also paying the staff to deliver the service and things like that. But in terms of clarifying that SFM are not included in this revenue split whatsoever, the revenue goes directly to the county and is split 75-25 with FC Naples.
Okay, I think it's good for citizens to know that, we're trying to operate it as a profitable business, so we can roll those profits back into the county in a various different ways. That was all I had.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Out of that $600,000, I would take it that was gross sales. 60,000?
No, 600.
It was 600.
Food.
It was 600. What's the net profit of it that we share?
That was the net. It wasn't gross. It was net.
Oh, perfect.
Wow.
That's a good job.
It's a lot of food.
And I just want to make a comment. I love the process. I love the thought process. And one final comment. Ain't nobody got time for bad buns. Good job.
Just for clarification, Commissioner Hall, it's the gross revenue minus taxes is the 600.
Is the 600? Okay.
Did you get that comment with regard to the buns?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Hall or Saunders, or just hit your hands up button if you want to speak, and Tom will let me know. I have two comments, if I may. There was an event there this past weekend honoring a veterans charity. I would like an enhancement of the signage for incoming folks. The signage, we have to treat that facility like you've never been there before, and you've been there 100 times. So he knows which direction to go. And so the little yard signs that get jacked around are difficult for people, the first timers. And so we have to, I would like that signage for parking, directions, where to go, what to do. I would like that signage enhanced. And I understand we're going to expand the park and do some really nifty things, but I want it to be, first timers to be able to waltz right in and go. Number two, I would suggest that we have some VIP tenders to tend the folks that we're honoring when we bring them in, so that someone's picking them up and carrying them through security and putting them in the right spot and having them stand there, so that there's a little bit better management of the VIPs when we're actually bringing people. I know where to go when I come in there and park, and I know that sort of thing, but we need to treat the facility as if everybody that's coming there has never been there before.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And we'll go back to the team and work on that.
Commissioner LaCastro?
Yeah, I'll just echo, and I had mentioned this, I guess, way back when, but the last time I drove by the stadium, I guess we figured it out. We finally ordered more letters, slide-in letters, so now everything's not written in code on the board because we ran out of G's, that sort of thing. So I sort of like that. I wish, I think in our long-term plan, that board should be some sort of video board. I mean, right now it's a 1972 type thing where, when gas was 79 cents a gallon and they used to slide the numbers in. I mean, come on, we're doing that. But I echo what Commissioner McDaniel is saying just about signage in general. We're a permanent facility now. These little open house signs that you stick in the ground temporarily. I mean, those at some point should either be replaced or bigger or whatever. I mean, I'm not the expert there, but I just think that we still have some stuff around the sports complex that kind of are temporary kind of things. And granted, it's for a one-day thing, but then we put them out again for the next event and the next event. So if we can figure out a way to really start to make things more permanent, and I just also think, I'll echo it again, I think in our long range plan, if there's a possibility to upgrade the signage. And the answer that came back to me when I first asked this was, well, there's certain code requirements and there's certain things you can't do on that stretch or what have you. But I think we also control that. So I'm not saying we go above and beyond, but I don't think that sign is going to stand the test of time. And we could get so much more out of it rather than have somebody going out there with a ladder or a thing, changing, letters every time. I think, we grew past that 30 years ago. So if we need to change something in code in code enforcement, we own the guy. Tom's in the back somewhere, and then us. Or just if there's something we can talk about, and it's not today, because I know we have lots of other investment. But as we continue to go, that should be on the list. The sign's great; it's just not phenomenal. And then Commissioner McDaniel pointed out perfectly. We have some other things that look a little homemade, and I think we're sort of have grown out of that. So, but certainly have made a lot of strides. So thank you,
sir.
You both.
Commissioner Kowal.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on the sign thing because, I know they did some improvements to the one out on Collier Boulevard where the one of the main intersections is, but when you get on that secondary road, especially when you're going towards the south entrance road that leads to the park itself, that sign there, you don't know if what you're looking for, you miss it. You end up down by the hotels down there. You don't catch it at the right moment to see that sign that's there. It's not that impressive. It's like, I think almost like something on a fence line down there. So that's, to me, just don't look professional. And that's one of the main entrances leading in, especially when we have the soccer games with the prepaid, I think it's the prepaid VIP ticket parking comes into that south entrance. So that, it's I know where it is, and I've missed it a few times. So, it's just, I think it's something we really need to take a strong look at. So,
Thank you, sir. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, I've been trying to figure out how to put a little hand up, but I've been unsuccessful in it.
Somebody show him how.
So I think what I would basically add is, first of all, I want to thank staff for an excellent report, and also Sports Facility Management and FC Naples for an excellent couple of seasons here. And I know that when we get the further report that we're going to have some recommendations on how to improve things. That's always the case, and I'm looking forward to that. I think my message today is that this facility, Paradise Sports Complex, really has been a far greater success than any of us could have anticipated at the very beginning. We knew that this would draw a lot of people. It would create a tremendous facility for our kids to use, our families to use, and be a meeting place for literally hundreds of thousands of people over the years. And so I just want to thank our staff and Sports Facilities Management and FC Naples for really stepping up and making this a facility that we can all be very proud of. And I'm looking forward to the enhancements that are going to be coming down the road.
I think we all are. All right, I'll take a motion for acceptance.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We accept the report from staff with our update and all the good things that are going on over there. Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, same sound, so moved. Now we get right to our 10 o'clock time certain.
Yes, sir. Item 10A is a recommendation to receive a presentation by Scott McGregor, General Manager of the Gate Golf Course. This item is brought to the agenda by Commissioner Saunders.
Commissioner Saunders, do you have a little comment before we go?
Yeah, just very briefly, I want to explain sort of why I asked this to be placed on the agenda. I get a lot of phone calls and communication raising questions as to when this facility is going to be open and what's it going to look like. And I thought really the best way to do that is to let the public know, and I've done this, that we're going to have this presentation and to have a formal presentation. But also, I think this is going to be something we can all be very proud of. It's a facility that the county has been looking at having some sort of a publicly run golf course where our citizens can enjoy the game of golf with their families, their kids, without it costing an arm and a leg. And that's what we're ultimately going to have here. It's going to be something where our families in this community are going to really be able to come together, use the game of golf for a lot of different reasons. Of course, we have First Tee there, and that's going to be a premier facility. It's going to be one of the best, if not the best, in the country. And of course, they are helping use the rules of golf to teach our kids the things that they're going to need to be able to do in order to be successful in their futures. So this, I just want to bring this as to update the public, update the commission, and also just as a good news item that I think we can all be very proud of.
Thank you, commissioners and residents. I am Scott McGregor, general manager of the Gate Golf Club.
Lean over to the microphone. My mother's listening, and when she can't hear you, she starts chirping.
Thank you, sir. Scott McGregor, general manager of the Gate Golf Club. I'm excited to represent all of our partners, designers, construction teams, board members, and current and future team members of the Gate Golf Club. The Gate is a community golf club where everyone is welcome to enjoy the game of golf at their own pace and play level. We are also home to the Collier County Naples First Tee Foundation, where the First Tee will guide thousands of junior golfers in Collier County through their golf programs and life learning skills curriculum. And who knows, with the junior programming of the First Tee and our golf facilities of the Gate Golf Club, one day a junior golfer from the Golden Gate community may become a PGA or LPGA champion.
Go back to that first picture. There we go. That was the rendition?
Correct.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
This is the most current view of the majority of our operations and buildings at the Gate. I have a high-level presentation for all the buildings, but for everyone to see, this is a north-looking view of the what we call our village area. That's Collier Boulevard to the right. So the first building in the bottom left is the cart barn, where we house our golf carts every night. We have a maintenance room in there, and we also have a break room for our associates that all work up in the buildings up there. Just north of that is the golf shop, and that's where everyone can check in for their golf rounds, purchase retail, and some beverages and snacks for their golf round. To the north of that, to the left, is the Oakwood Grill Restaurant. The first building in that section is the main kitchen area, which will produce the majority of our food throughout the property. And the dining room is just north of that. To the right of that building is our concessions building. It's called the Gimme. And to the right of that is the Pavilion Outdoor Bar, which faces north-south up the driving range. And you'll see our bays driving range. The slab has been laid for all the bays. There's 38 of them. And to the right of that building is the administration offices for the First Tee Foundation. And to the far right is their building where they do all of their activities. This is another view just to show the adjacent property of the golf course. To the left of that cart barn is the practice putting green for your round, and then the First Tee is just there on your left. And then just off of the Oakwood Grill Restaurant to the left is the 9th green. Here's another view, a northwest view. Coming in from the right to the left, you have the first green, and then to the left of that are the tee boxes for the second hole. Coming back in the opposite direction is the 8th hole, and then to the right of that is the tee boxes over the large sand trap is the 9th tee box. Here is another view of from the tee, looking at the tee boxes of number 2 and back towards all the pro shop and restaurant operations flowing up through the 9th hole. These are views of holes 3 and 7 and our maintenance buildings. Inside of the maintenance building, we will perform all of our maintenance on our lawn equipment. There is also offices for the agronomy team in there and a break room for all the associates that work in the agronomy. And as you can see, we're in the early stages of mowing and refining the greens, tee boxes, and fairways. The course is really starting to take shape. This holds 5 and 6, 2 par 4s, one heading back towards Collier County, or Collier Boulevard, my apologies. And then hole 6 comes back around the pars development. Next up is the Oakwood Grill Restaurant. You can see it's now enclosed and crews are in the beginning stages of building out the interiors of this beautiful restaurant. Southern views of the 9th hole and northern views of the Gator putting course and the Bay's practice range. The Oakwood Grill Restaurant will serve lunch and dinner daily. The Bay's practice range. At our practice range, the Bay's crews are preparing the range with topsoil and building the canopy over the hitting bays, including dedicated bays for the First Tee Academy for junior golfers. The bays feature TrackMan golf and gaming systems that help golfers of all skill levels improve their game while also offering interactive games for groups, date nights, and family outings. The Pavilion Outdoor Bar is our outdoor dining space with signature cocktails, regional beers, and delicious culinary offerings. The Pavilion will also offer some of the best people-watching views of the bays. Equipped with massive fans circulating all year long, this will be the spot to hang out post-round or for locals looking for a fun, relaxed vibe to catch the game on our TVs. The Pavilion will be open for lunch and dinner daily. The Gimme, pick it up, it's good. This is inspired by the golf term for a putt that's practically guaranteed. It represents an easy, approachable experience with quick service and a casual grab-and-go atmosphere. The Gimme menus will focus on traditional golf course favorites with a focus of healthier preparation methods. The crews have enclosed the building and are now building out the interiors. The Gimme will serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner daily. The Gator Putting Course. Adjacent to the north patio of the Oakwood Grill Restaurant, the Gator is our signature 18-hole putting course designed by PGA legend Peter Jacobsen. It's getting greener each week after being sprigged with Tiff Eagle Bermuda, and lighting is now installed for future nighttime play. Again, we want to thank our partners that have helped us get this far and will get us through the finish line in offering this amazing experience for Collier County residents.
Commissioner LaCastro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have two quick questions that I've been getting from some citizens. All the food service operations in there, if you're not playing, if you're not hitting balls or anything like that, could you still go there to go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
We would love them to.
Yeah, and so want people to hear that. Has there been any discussion as to details on green fees, costs? I've been getting that a lot. You know, a lot of people are saying all these golf courses in Collier County, you know, we have one that's a public course that's going to membership only, and, you know, that's not something we can control. It's somebody's business. But when will we start to hear some details about fees and things? It's going to be open to the public, right? So is there going to be any kind of membership sort of structure? I'm sure you could pay a flat rate to play, you know, the whole year or something like that. But can you give us a little peek under the tent for citizens who might be watching about, you know, how affordable it's going to be and what the structure might be for different fees for playing golf, hitting balls, all those type of things?
Sure, we're in the final stages of designing our budgets and finalizing our budgets with our pricing and our programming. One thing I can share today is that green fees for Collier County residents, depending on season, will be discounted to 40% in season, and then when golf rates naturally kind of flex to a more value season, they'll get a 20% discount. So roughly they'll be paying right around the same amount all year long to play golf.
But there won't be a priority system, somebody that has a quote-unquote sort of like membership or anything like that, or it'll just be, you know, just like any other public type of facility that we have, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
We are open to the public. Everyone is welcome.
Yeah, oh, it's going to be great. Thank you, sir.
Have to show an ID.
Yeah.
Correct.
It still look, wait, I'm sorry,
You're done. You're done.
wait, your
Slide up twice.
wait,
You have to light up.
your slide said December 2026. Does that still look pretty solid? Barring any storms, hurricanes, things like that, right?
Yeah, knock on wood, no storms, but
Okay.
yes, that's correct.
Right, thank you.
Commissioner Hall.
Mr. Chairman.
Wait a second, Commissioner Saunders, you gotta let me call upon you, sir.
All right, I just want to make sure you know I was on the list.
You are.
Now, we sense that hand raised.
Yes.
Since this is a public course, Collier County is filled with private golf courses that you have to pay extreme amounts of money to be a part of. And those people are used to paying $8 beers and $17 glasses of wine. I have great hopes for this facility that this is going to be the people's place where they don't have to pay those kind of prices to enjoy them. And I hope that that's being taken under consideration, that we don't try to make it profitable to an extreme on the people's dime. This is a public course with public funds, and I hope that's taken into consideration.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. That is 100% our mission. We are a community golf club, and our rates and our prices for everything that we serve or service will be very approachable.
Great. I look forward to a $2 MAGA beer.
Sounds good.
Are you price fixing right now? All right, Commissioner Saunders, we saw your little hand pop up there.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the questions I'm getting from a lot of folks is the hours of operation. When is the golf course going to be open in terms of its operations, but more significantly, the driving range, which will be lighted. What are the hours of operation of both, and what is being done to make sure that the lighting doesn't spill over into the bars area and the community there?
That's a great question. We are still dialing in our hours of operations. However, all of our operations will fundamentally operate within our lease agreement. As for the lighting, the entire project was put together from the same company that builds out Topgolfs. And so the lighting programming has canopies on each one, and we are able to adjust those so that there is no bleeding outside of the actual space that's being utilized.
All right, in terms of operations though, for the driving range, I've heard different numbers, 10 p.m. You don't have a guesstimate at this point as to what the hours will be for the driving range.
For the driving range, I believe we are looking at our last available bay rental would be 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Okay, so that would include weekends as well. So we were talking about 10 p.m.
Correct.
Time frame. All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Kowal.
Yeah, just two comments. I just want to make sure I help out my B team partner. I don't know if you noticed the three little circles or dots. If you hit that, the hand pops up. And you can hit it.
I hit that. I didn't realize a hand was popping up, so I'll know that for next time.
Well, no, you hit it, then one of the options is to raise your hand. So
Directions.
I don't know if you see that on there. But other than that, I was out there 2 weeks ago and did a tour. I was really impressed. And I've been on a bunch of golf courses before, and it's really coming together. The way the grass is coming in and everything. Hopefully they're going to hit that target date in December that I think we were talking about, because it's pretty impressive. And the first tee thing is pretty impressive too, with the way it's laid out with the learning center and the indoor sessions they'll have with the computerized driving range inside, and it's quite impressive. So I don't know if you guys have been out there yourselves, but it's worth taking a little quick tour. So
in addition to their interior hitting bays, we have allotted the final 8 bays to the right. So essentially bays 31 through 38 are for the first tee. So they'll be able to utilize the range and our range balls in the outdoor play.
Very good. Now, I have a couple of questions. How are the current conditions with the management of the course itself? I saw some pretty nice greens and some, I see you're doing some plugging on the putting game to the left. Overall, because I recall there were subsurface and sprinkler issues and that sort of thing. Have you been able to manage through those things adequately?
Yes, I believe so. I have not been apprised of any issues with sprinklers. Although the course is taking shape and looking almost playable, there's still a considerable amount of growth that needs to happen.
Sure.
And manicuring of the property to get it ready for guests.
And I know there was some discussion, I was really happy to hear about the management of the lighting system so that it doesn't bleed it over, into the pars. And we also have to be cognizant of 950 Collier Boulevard and the lighting there, so we're not causing any traffic issues. Are the bays on the drive-in range outside covered?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that will greatly help.
Each bay will have the hitting mats, and the canopy covers a seating area for other guests right behind it.
And this question is more for Commissioner Hall's sake than myself, but how long of a 9-hole course is this? Because he can't hit it very far.
Well, that's an excellent question. I actually don't have the full yardage. I think it's somewhere in 3,500 to 3,600 yards.
Plus
so
minus it's
that would be from the tips, I believe.
That's close enough. That's close enough for right now. So
yeah, what I have noticed as traveling around the course that for a low handicapper or a great, a good golfer, if they're playing from the appropriate tees, it provides a challenge. But the number of tees that we have for all the different levels of golfers, it really provides a welcoming and approachable golf course.
Wonderful, thank you.
Is it par 72 if you played 9 twice? And you play from the appropriate
71,
tees?
I believe.
71?
It would be 71.
Yeah.
All right.
Or 70.
Well, thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate you coming. Commissioner Saunders, thank you for bringing this agenda item forward. We've all been watching the construction going on out there, and it's very good to hear.
I can tell you with everything that's going on out there right now, 2026 is going to be a good year for groundbreakings and openings out at that old golf course.
I agree. All right.
Commissioners, that brings us to item 15, Staff and Commission General Communications. Item 15A is public comments on general topics not on the current or future agenda by individuals not already heard during previous public comments in this meeting.
We have one registered speaker. It is Garrett FX Byron.
Thank you, Garrett. Appreciate your declining.
That's all we have.
Very good.
15B is staff project updates. We do not have any. That brings us to item 15C, Staff and Commission General Communications. Just wanted to give you a brief update. We had some discussions about some workshops. I do have correspondence back from the city of Marco. They're looking at August for a joint workshop they would like to host, and they have given me the Thursdays. Thursday afternoons in August. So if at the board's pleasure, we'll work with your aides to find a date that works for everybody for that one. I've also been in contact with Lee County again. We are monitoring the rest of our special sessions, see what comes out of that regarding property tax reform and the budget, and then we'll look for a date for that workshop as well. And I'm still working with the City of Naples for a workshop date. With that, I have nothing else. County Attorney.
Nothing else, thank you.
I'm going to go to our friends online first. Commissioner Saunders, you have anything to add before we close?
I do not, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate via Zoom today.
Absolutely. How about Commissioner Kowal?
Yeah, I have nothing else to add either, and I echo my colleagues. Thanks for letting me zoom in.
Absolutely. Commissioner LaCastro?
Nothing to add, thank you.
Really?
You want me to think of
Hurry.
something? I'm going to make something up.
I'm going over here. Commissioner Hall.
I have nothing to add, but I do have a question. Regarding the comments earlier about the kids on the e-bikes.
Yes.
We had a kid hit right in front of my house, crossing the street. Kind of, I would imagine, and I don't know for sure, but I would imagine being a daredevil type thing, because I've seen their behavior on Trail Boulevard, and I hated it for that kid. I even hated it a lot more for his mother. I saw her sitting in the ambulance, but is there something that we can do as a board to encourage the SO to enforce the law that we passed? I know that they're in the education side right now, but that's not working.
I'm going to let Commissioner Kowal, if he's still on, to address that, and then because it is a coordinated effort
Yes.
between enforcement and education. But I think maybe actions, personally, I would like to see actions enhanced on the enforcement side. It isn't writing tickets the first day. That's a portion of the education. So Commissioner Kowal, you have any comments with regard to that?
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I have, initially, I think in April, it's been a year now since we've passed the public safety citizen ordinance that, refers to the e-bikes and these different things. And, for the first 6 months or so, it was a lot of educational. The sheriff teamed up with the schools. They put some videos out. They put flyers out. But I think, like Commissioner Hall said, at some point we got to see some enforcement. But the thing I think is too, they can't be everywhere all the time. And I've been telling people in my community meetings I have once a month, I says, because it comes up a lot, and I tell the citizens that if you see, because there's usually patterns. These kids are usually at certain times of the day after school, they're riding in packs, they're out doing what they're doing on these bikes. And if you see it, call either the non-emergency sheriff number, give them a heads up, or you can even call the 311 and they'll direct it. But once we start building some sort of database, and the sheriff will have some ammunition or tool in his toolbox to maybe post somebody in those areas during those hours, those times of the days that the citizens are seeing it. Because it's hard for them to just post somewhere and wait for something to happen. It helps that, our eyes and ears, the citizens out there kind of help too. So it's more of a team effort to get the intel so the sheriff can have, people in certain places, certain times of the day, and, try to, educate and enforce if it comes down to it. But I think, it is tough, and I see it myself, and I'm like, I want to do something, but I don't have the authority to do it anymore. I can only make the laws. I can't enforce them anymore. But that's, it is what it is. And I think that getting it out to the public, if you see it, report it, and then we can start narrowing down times of days, and they can do a special detail. They can do something, if we're seeing a pattern. And I think the public is seeing a pattern, because I'm getting that feedback from the citizens when I have my meetings, that they say every time at 3 o'clock we got 6 of these kids come riding through our neighborhood. Well, that'd be a good time to have a deputy sitting out there. So, I mean, that's my best thing I can think of right now to, get more people involved.
Good advice.
And that is good advice. Maybe we can have a discussion when we're going through our budget hearings to talk about the special details and how we can do it. And it's also important too, when people do report infractions, because it's a non-emergency infraction or issue, make sure that you put the date and the time that you're seeing these issues so that our sheriff can better track and then manage the enforcement appropriately. All right, now it's my turn. Do we have any updates on Station 74's opening? And as Brian's coming up, I saw you sitting back there, so as he's coming up, and I don't need Mr. Mullins to be moving, just listen if you will. I want to, at some stage, address a betterment of the policy that the board has with regard to the tracking of the statutes and then the adjustments to our LDC, so that we're more timely especially with these daggone preemptive statutes that they keep cranking out of Tallahassee. I would like to see an enhancement with our LDC amendments being effectuated considerably more quicker. 74.
Yes, sir. We got the temporary fire pump hooked up this last Friday to electrical from FPL. We're looking at getting a stocking permit this week, and then a TCO for occupation next week.
temporary, so next, we can see temporary opening maybe next week?
Yes, sir. We have to get the permanent fire pump installed, which is going to happen in August sometime. So we'll have a temporary certification of occupancy until that permanent fire pump's put in.
Very good. Thank you. And that's, this is for, and my last comment is for Mr. French in the back. You don't have to come. I had a thought after we were talking about that park. Wouldn't it be cool if we had an app that we could send to VIPs and important people that are coming with, or anybody necessarily, but invitees to the events that we're having at the park? If we developed an app that click of a button, here's the directions on where to go in there. Click of a button, here's who's going to be meeting you at such and such a spot. I know a lot of places that I go to send those things out automatically, and it, even for as technologically challenged as I am, it really helps. So that's my last comment.
Right.
Anything else for the good of the order before we close? We are closed.
Thank you.
Adjourned.
Good job, Mr. Chair.